couple dozen here, but it looks like it's great. Before I start, though, I want to introduce two members of my family, my wife and my granddaughters here, my wife, Carol. I certainly want to thank you for that very warm welcome, because I see this in less than personal terms, because I see this as an endorsement of something very important, and that is our Constitution and our freedoms. This campaign certainly is different. This is quite a bit different than we've had in a long, long time. And it's because of you. It's because that the young people and those who once remembered what the country used to be like have been all of a sudden, energized to say that we can have it back again. We can get our freedoms back again. And that's what this is all about. Keep the fruits of our labor. That's what is so important. Rather than sending it off to government and getting all the rules and regulations and dictates back, telling us how to run our lives and how to run the economy. What we need is a lot less government. We don't need more government. Economic conditions have been deteriorating a long time before our government started to recognize it. Now they're scurrying around up in Washington. They say, you know what? The middle class is starting to hurt. They haven't paid any attention to what's been going on for years, how the middle class is being squeezed, how it's hard to pay the bills, the depreciation of the currency, and all the wasteful spending overseas. And now they're starting to say that we have to do something about it. And too many people thought they were going to get a free lunch. Well, you know the saying, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. And right now, the free lunches are being paid for. The tragedy of it all is the people who got the free lunch don't have to pay, and the people who did get the lunch are paying the bills, and that's what's so unfair. Production is gone. Our good jobs have been chased overseas due to our trade policies and our monetary policy and our tax policies, and now we're facing a crisis. The best measurement of a financial crisis in a country is the value of our currency, and all you have to do is look at the news on a daily basis. And you think that, just from decades now, we've actually had a policy that we have to be fighting and sending our troops around the world to secure our oil. But here it is, 7 years ago, we embarked on expanding our role in the Middle East. We go into the Middle East to protect our oil. At the time the Iraq War started, oil was $27 a barrel. Where is it now? Close to $100 a barrel. So we went and spent nearly $1 trillion in military operations, and we printed that money to run that, or borrowed it from China. Best way to do that, in order to cut this $1 trillion empire operation that we have, is we need to start immediately and start bringing our troops home. Being in the Middle East, I am convinced, weakens our national defense, because it undermines our capabilities of our military. The equipment is diminished. We stir up more trouble, more enemies. We have less friends. And at the same time, there are some individuals in Washington on both sides of the aisle that advocate spreading the war. Going into Pakistan, pick their dictator once again. Going into Iran, getting rid of their dictator. And now we're nation building in Afghanistan and Iraq. And it goes on, and it doesn't do anything but get us into a lot of trouble. During the 60s, I was in the Air Force. I was called up in '62 during the Cuban crisis, and I was in for 5 years. And it was always as argued for year after year, we can't go home because if we leave Vietnam, there would be chaos. Well, we finally had to leave after nearly 60,000 men and women who were killed, and probably 2 million Vietnamese. And they said, oh, there would be the domino effect that would all turn communist. And guess what happened? After a few years of being in trouble, now they're more capitalistic than we are. China's become our banker, of all things. So yes, we produce less, we buy more, we export our dollars, they loan us our money back, we become dependent on them. And we're out messing around with our military, trying to secure our oil. At the same time, China's taking our dollars and investing in oil wells in Iran and other places. We need to wake up. It just doesn't work anymore. And we need to just go back to the fundamentals. It's not complex. How about a rather unique idea? Let's hold everybody's feet to the fire in Washington and make sure that they always obey the Constitution. It was at one time, it was meant that local government was supposed to take care of us, whether it's a medical care or whether it's education or even our infrastructure. I represent a coastal district in Texas, and we all know what it means to live near the coast when hurricanes come in. And it's this idea that we've lost confidence in ourselves as individuals in the marketplace and local government, and everything goes to Washington, and they just mess things up. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe in regional government once again, and we need to have an understanding of what the true purpose of the government is supposed to be. Our Constitution is written very precisely for one major purpose, and if you read it carefully, it's mostly made up of thou shalt nots. The thou shalt nots aren't placed on the people. It's to restrain the government is the reason we have it. It's very easy to take the position that we should not have the government regulating or taxing the internet ever. We have established our policy in this country, and unfortunately there's no sincere resistance to this in Washington. And that is now that we have accepted the policy of preemptive war. We should never start the wars. We shouldn't be in the business of starting wars. It's very clear. We shouldn't go to war unless it's declared. If it is declared, then we all get together, we fight it, win it, and come home. You know, we haven't declared a war since World War II, and we haven't won one. But I was told by a couple members of the committee that day that this was frivolous, bringing up the subject of the Constitution. Another individual says, oh, that part of the Constitution, that's anachronistic. We don't use that part anymore. We do have a real opportunity. There haven't been a lot of campaigners coming to Louisiana here in the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks. They're off doing other things. Now, I feel very good about coming. I made a decision rather late just because the schedule is really tough. But I am very fortunate. This is the third meeting today, and they've all been very exciting. You know, and every one of them's been more than 2 or 3 dozen, let me tell you. You know, they told me when we started winning those polls after the debate, oh, that's just those spammers out there. They only have a couple dozen that do it. But the energy is very exciting. But tomorrow is a special day. It's a special day in Louisiana, and they send a very, very important message. A partial message, which was a very good message, was you know, last week with Nevada. Coming in second is not all that bad. Media tends to pick the leaders, you know. Oh yeah, somebody, oh, he's a leader. He's going to be out in front. And some of them have been way out in front until the people get to know about them, and they keep slipping and slipping and slipping. In contrast, ours has been down here slowly gaining. And you know, there was one time in the early debates, it was a confrontation between myself and somebody that used to be a mayor of the city. I can't remember. But I did keep up a little bit, and we want to see how we've been doing after this almost a year since that confrontation. It turns out that he has spent twice as much money, and today we have twice as many votes. One thing I don't do in politics, I'm very, very cautious about making predictions. I hear too many, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, you know, and everybody's supposed to say, yeah, sure, you're going to do this, but it generally doesn't come true, but I'm going to be very bold. I'm going to predict that we are really going to beat Giuliani tomorrow. You're going to really have time to go to work tomorrow, find out where the caucus is, take your friends and do what you have to do. And coming in first place tomorrow night, I would say we're all going to have a whole lot of fun. Thank you very much for coming.